To the show, we are unfortunately here on ESPN Radio. ESPN2, we are presented by Progressive Insurance. You can be a part of Unsportsmanlike Nation on the Dr. Pepper call-in line at 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776, ESPN Nation, presented by Dr. Pepper. It's not college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing. Less than a year removed from trading Luka to the Lakers, Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison was fired yesterday in what probably culminates for now the worst trade maybe in basketball history and maybe in sports history with Luka going to the Lakers. Along with Michelle Smallman, Chris Canty, Evan Cohen with you. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I am.
You're doing better than Nico Harrison.
I am just amazed that someone. Let me. Smalls, hi.
Hi. Good morning. Welcome back into the studio, Evan.
Thank you. Was I not going to be allowed in? Was that like a
you were on remote the past 2 days.
We thought about
it.
You
thought about changing the locks and everything?
Vote, and we figured, you know what? It would be the right thing to allow you to come in today, especially this morning before the show where you're doing not only your prep, but you're also doing the prep for our director, Mike, who is currently stuck on the subway. So you're doing a great job with two jobs this morning.
Killer Mike is stuck on the subway?
Well, no, he just got here, but he got here after all the work needed to be done. Smart move by him. But
I mean, here's the thing.
I take pride in that stuff.
The more you can do.
Right.
Which is why we thought it was the right thing to let you
He needed a lighting guy. I'm here not to host. We needed a lighting guy.
You have to come back in because we don't know how to plug the mics in.
Yeah, he's a utility guy.
He is. A Swiss Army knife of you.
Yeah, 5'2" player.
That's right. That's nice.
Here's the thing that I don't understand. Cece, you've been a part of running businesses, right? Everybody out there either works for someone, with someone, or has their own company. How many times do you have meetings or conversations where like, hey, I'm going to throw out this crazy idea. We should do this. And then it's the person at the top that their job is to say, all right, I understand where you're coming from, but no. I actually don't blame Nico. I am blaming governorship for the Dallas Mavericks for maybe the most inept 10 months you could ever imagine. Or 12 months, whatever you want to look at it. Because it's okay for Nico Harrison to walk in and say, I'm sick of Luka off the court. I'm sick of the physical condition he's in. I think I could put together a trade that gets us a future Hall of Fame player that changes our identity and makes us really good. He is allowed to have a dumb idea. Someone has to sign off on the dumb idea. And then if you're the person who's signing off on the dumb idea, you then have to allow the dumb idea to not be dumb. You didn't even give it time to bake. Why? Because the guys that are always hurt, guess what? Are hurt. Kyrie, always hurt. Anthony Davis, always hurt. This is not surprising. If you want to have an employee walk in with a dumb idea, that actually is the mark of a good business. The bad business is when you allow the dumb idea to come to fruition and then not let it play itself out to make it into a good idea. This is on Patrick Dumont as much as it's on Nico. They could scream fire Nico all they want, which they're not going to do anymore because they did, and it had to happen because they had to change their identity, but someone signed off on that.
Yeah, that's true. And Patrick Dumont deserves a lot of blame for how all of this stuff went down. But the reality of the situation is this. The fans were not going to let it go when it came to Nico trading Luka. And this was very much so going to be a play the results type of move, right? When you trade a 25-year-old that at the time you moved him had made 5 straight first-team All-NBAs, fans don't want to hear about a 3 to 4 year window that you've been able to cobble together with Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis as your centerpieces. But that's how Nico tried to sell it. Again, when you made that decision to move Luka, there was no margin for error for Nico Harrison and the Dallas Mavs organization. Yet it was a comedy of errors post-trade, right? All right, so I mentioned the Nico Harrison spin machine press conference in Cleveland, that whole disaster, how that all went down. But then in the aftermath of trading Luka, because Kyrie Irving is the only guy that you had on the roster remaining that could create for himself and others, Kyrie Irving was logging ridiculous minutes. You're talking about a 32-year-old player with the significant injury history, averaging over 40 minutes a game in the month leading up to him tearing his ACL. So this is post-Luka Doncic trade. Kyrie Irving, 41 minutes, 39 minutes, 41 minutes, 43 minutes, 39 minutes, 37 minutes, 31 minutes in a laugher against the Pelicans, 39 minutes, 38 minutes, 38 minutes. It was inevitable. You did it to yourself. You put him in that situation. And then with Anthony Davis dealing with an ab injury, he tries to rush back to save Nico to make him look better. With the Luka Doncic trade, what happens to AD? Strained groin, he's going to be out. They never gave themselves a chance to see what AD and Kyrie could be on the floor together with this team. They did that to themselves.
That's right.
And so we'll never know what this Mavs team could have been with those two guys, but I will also acknowledge that the organization didn't give themselves the best chance to let this trade work out. Because here's the deal. Defense wins championships, like Nico said, when defending the move, unless you can't score. Right now, the Dallas Mavericks are third in defensive rating in the NBA. Third. But you know why it doesn't matter? Because they're dead last in offensive rating.
Oh, my gosh.
So we'll never see the vision that Nico Harrison was talking about. Right now, it's all about the franchise pivoting to build around Cooper Flagg. That should be the priority, nothing else.
I kind of still can't believe that he made that Luka deal. When we get word yesterday that Nico Harrison is out, I'm like, we are going to look back on this forever as one of the dumbest moves that you could ever conceive of in sports. And I understand being at a breaking point in a relationship. I understand them looking down the line and saying, we're going to have to pay this guy a ridiculous amount of money if he is not dedicated to himself, to his conditioning, to working on his defense, to maturing in a lot of ways. Do we want to invest in him in this way? And then my counter would be, like you said, he's a 25-year-old homegrown product that had 5 first-team All-NBA selections, and he just took you to the finals. So I kind of don't care how immature he is. He's that good at basketball. And I know that this is something that had been roiling within the organization for some time.
What was that word? Roiling? Mm-hmm. Roiling?
Roiling.
That's not the word of the day?
Would you like to...
Well, I already made it. I can't take it back.
Are you saying that's the word of the day?
Yeah, of course.
That is not the word of the day.
Wow, she set you up. You fell for it.
Roiling is just like simmering under the surface. And by the way, the word of the day today is so obvious that you would have gotten it.
Okay, well, I got it wrong.
She put a poison pill in there.
Hold on, though. Like, Smalls, you're the first one to call us out when we do Who Said It, and we'll do it at 9:15 today for shenanigans. I feel like that's a shenanigan.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not a strategy.
Why, because I have a beautiful vocabulary? That's a shenanigan?
That's what it is.
But did you or did you not use it specifically to catch?
No, I didn't. I
just randomly used the word roiling when talking about the Dallas Mavericks?
She was deep in her bag just
It's
now.
roiling under the surface.
It was great word
No
usage.
one uses the word roiling.
We use boiling under the surface.
Boiling, yeah.
There should be. It's not boiling under. It's boiling.
Boiling is at the top of the surface. Roiling is an undercurrent.
Roiling is under.
I agree with Nuno. It's like when you hear that.
That's great word usage.
Thank you, CC.
Smalls. Yeah.
There's that je ne sais quoi.
Say apoplectic, Nuno.
Please, Nuno,
Make me laugh.
do it for us.
Apoplectic.
Oh, very good.
He says it like you're pressing on like a chat TV.
Apoplectic.
Finish your thoughts.
Okay,
Paul.
but there were obviously concerns and tensions with Luka at that time that were roiling under the surface that may have boiled to the top, and that's why they made the move. But I think universally, everyone said, I don't care what the issues are. You exhaust every possible option when you hit on a talent like that. And I'm just very surprised that the organization would have, I mean, I know seemingly it might not be a short leash, but a short leash with Nico, considering when he made this move to not really let it bear out.
It's an easy, like, this is going to get worse, okay? So, because they're going to ultimately trade Anthony Davis. And what the return is for Anthony Davis, if you do that, okay, so they ended up trading Luka for this. If you do it that way, it's going to look worse. Also, Nico Harrison has something that all the other bad trades in the history of the sports don't necessarily have, which is a face of a bad trade. I don't know, when you look at the Cleveland Browns trading for Deshaun Watson, I don't know the organization, like, you can't change the owner. And Jimmy Haslam and D. Haslam may be that, right? When the Minnesota Vikings made the trade for Herschel Walker, I don't know who the face is on the other end. In this case, the face is Nico Harrison. Now, what's interesting about this is, which means they could boo him. What's interesting is what's next. Brian Windhorst, the ESPN senior writer, was on NBA Today and laid it all out for the Dallas Mavericks.
Let's talk about 3 knowns, okay? One known is that AD and Kyrie Irving have basically not played together at all.
Yeah.
Basically, relative seconds they've played together. So not only do we really not know how they match up, we don't really know what they can do this season. We don't know when Kyrie's going to come back, okay? That's number one. Number two, as Bobby laid out, the Mavericks control their draft in just 2 of the next 7 years.
Right.
But one of them is 2026. And the third thing that we know is that this is a generational draft.
Yep.
So this is not really a conversation necessarily have in November, but as this season goes along, as you watch NBA Today, what you're going to be hearing more and more of is teams beginning to struggle with what they should do with their roster looking at this draft. And I now have the Mavericks in that basket. That decision is probably not going to get made today. That decision has some unknowns because of Kyrie's health, but they are going to be a team because this is actually a draft pick that they control, and they've got an 18-year-old that is their future, who the dream would be you could put somebody next to him that is going to be on the plate of who's ever making big decisions later this season.
Laid out perfectly, as always, by Windy. And any number you want to give me for games played the rest of the season for both Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, I'll take the under. I'd be shocked if Kyrie Irving played 1 game this year. Why would he already said, I'm not rushing this back.
Yeah, he said that this summer.
Right. You're going to rush back for this team? No chance, right? And Anthony Davis, who, by the way, I'm going to say this. The Mavs did him dirty last night. They put out this tweet with a picture of all the new uniforms, and Anthony Davis is not in the shape that he wants to be in because he was hurt and he can't work out that way. They didn't need to put this picture up because the internet blows up with the picture of the way he looks like, oh, Anthony Davis. Why are we doing that to him? Leave this man alone. I'm not even an Anthony Davis guy. I thought it was horrible what they did to him last night. You could put the picture out of him in the uniform without showing, hey, clearly he's not in the shape he once was. Because you know why I bring this up? They told me to. When they're the organization that's trading Luka because of all the physical stuff, they're telling me to pay attention to people's physical condition in a way that I wouldn't. They did Anthony Davis dirty last night. They are a mess. They're an absolute mess. There is seemingly no strategy unless they listen to Windy, which is you have to trade everybody. Anthony Davis has to be on a different team.
No, you don't have to trade. You don't have to trade everybody.
Well, you're not going
to be able to trade Klay Thompson, not with that contract. You do need to trade AD. You do need to trade Kyrie Irving. I think the other pieces on the Dallas Mavericks are fine. Those guys are in their mid-20s. You can hang on to all those guys. P.J. Washington and Mac Christie and Najee Marshall and Derek Lively. But why would you move those guys? Like, they have an opportunity to grow with Cooper Flagg, and I think that's what you should do.
Yeah, build around him.
But you got to see what you can get for AD and Kyrie, because like Wendy said, after next year, you don't control your draft for the next half decade. The 2027 first-round pick goes to the Charlotte Hornets. The 28 first-round pick is a pick swap with OKC. You think they're going to want to do that deal? Of course they are. The 29 pick goes to the Houston Rockets.
Good teams.
The 30 pick is a swap with the San Antonio Spurs. So, like all of those teams are going to exercise that leverage and get the Dallas Mavs pick, which is why it's important that you flip Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis for what you can get now. Now, I'm not sure how Kyrie Irving's health complicates potentially moving on from him. Maybe you have to wait until next summer to do it. But the Anthony Davis move is one that should absolutely happen before February's trade deadline.
100%.
Absolutely.
100% agree.
The only question is, who's an Anthony Davis away?
Well, you shouldn't even tempt me with that because I know we have other stuff on the table.
No, I got to put it out there.
All right, we can discuss.
I want to master the trade machine.
All right, later on, we can discuss that.
I know you've thought of it.
Of course, thought of it. That's all I did yesterday. What are you kidding me? That's a 2.5-hour tease. So in about 2.5 hours from now, we'll answer that question. From a termination in Dallas to a termination in New York. We'll get to that after CC has this from